And now I would like to introduce our anonymous speaker. We have M, a radical feminist from India who's just arrived in Australia. Take it away, M.
I would like to humbly and respectfully acknowledge the First Nations and their people and pay my tributes to elders past, present, and emerging. So I will focus on both Article 4 and 5 of the Declaration. Article 4 is about reaffirming the right of women to freedom of opinion and freedom of expression, and Article 5 is about the freedom of women to associate and assemble. Now because I'm going to cover India, Australia, and the UK, I just want to begin by setting the social-legal context so that we can understand the broader the background under which women are being persecuted, because we are being persecuted. Now, when you look at India, Australia, and the UK, all three of these countries have one common legal tradition. That is the legal tradition of common law that originated in the UK. Now, since since all three countries are democracies, they consider the right to free speech and expression to be crucial to the existence of functioning democracy. The right to free speech, and when it comes to India, the right to free speech is a fundamental right, which means that every Indian citizen, which includes women, is entitled to the exercise of this right. Now so these are the legal rights, and women are entitled to say what they want to. So that includes the right of academics like Dr. Kathleen Stock to write her book and to express her thoughts on gender identity. That includes the right of an Indian filmmaker like Vaishnavi Sundar to make her films and to express her opinions. But as women, we live under male supremacy, and for centuries, men have censored, shut up, or persecuted women for speaking and articulating, such that our voices are lost. It happened. It happened to suffragists in the UK in the late 19th and early 20th centuries as well, and it continues to happen to women in homes, offices, and parliaments. Even when women are given a platform to speak, such as academia or political forums and mass media, what we say is not taken seriously. If women are saying that men in women's bathroom is a safety emergency, it's not being taken seriously. Women do not set trends, intellectual, political, or otherwise. It's because women don't lead the conversations by expressing. Now, now focusing on India, the cult of gender identity has made significant encroachments in India. We already have a statute in place which allows individuals and minors to declare their gender. One is not likely to find any op-ed, editorial, or news piece which does not use language which subscribes to gender identity. Pronouns, trans woman, anti-trans, it's all there. I realized early on in my journey as a radical feminist that there is a culture of intolerance around anyone who questioned the transgender. In 2017, when I was on Twitter, I used to follow other radical feminists, particularly in the UK, who are fighting to protect their women only spaces, like bathrooms. I commented in support of one such feminist on Twitter, but some of my woke Indian followers were not happy about it. So I got a very rhetorical comment, question, and response, something to the effect of, I don't understand, is this about trans women not being able to enter women's bathrooms? The question was so rhetorical that I chose not to respond to it. However, I found that soon my comment was getting retweeted around such that some trans identified men could see it and then identify who I was. Come to 2022, and we already have many cases of women who have been deplatformed, fired, forced to resign, or have been bullied and harassed by genderists and their supporters in all the three countries, and many more, of course, uh, for stating the plain truth that sex is real and immutable. The late Kamla Bhasin, a long-time Indian feminist, was reviled and called a turf on social media and otherwise by genderists in India for not pandering to the trans agenda to their satisfaction. Vaishnavi Sundar, an Indian filmmaker and a fearless radical feminist, has been cancelled by most of the Indian media. Her film Dysphoric, which is available on YouTube, has been treated as if it was never made by the mainstream Indian media here. She has lost writing gigs, and people will not review her work. But there is one more tactic that is used to silence feminists who question gender identity in India, which is to call them elitist, bigots, or exclusionary. that by saying men cannot become women, feminists are somehow defending other forms of oppression along the lines of caste or class. So, as for compelled speech, such as the use of pronouns and being compelled to use words like trans women or pronouns, there are young therapists in India who have psychotherapists who have started to use pronouns to describe themselves. Harry Potter is very famous and beloved in India. When J.K. Rowling tweeted in support of Maya Forstater in 2020, the woke brigade in India set out on a witch hunt. Indian woke could not and still cannot wrap their heads around the fact that a woman did not toe the line of men's feelings. The fact that women like me have to do this anonymously every time that we want to speak or interact with our sisters also speaks to the medieval culture of witch hunting that gender identity relies on. It is not that we cannot have a conversation, but I think that the trans rights movement does not want to have a conversation with women. There are women like me and my other feminists who have been shouted down and simply kicked out of events and webinars discussing the rights of queer identifying people here in India for asking basic questions like about biology and about stating the plain truth that men cannot become women just by feeling that they are women. Whereas Whereas feminists, we are constantly articulating, justifying, and re-justifying our position, responding to criticism levied on us, especially on radical feminists, running pillar to post, collecting data, fighting lawsuits, making websites, doing surveys to substantiate and corroborate what should have been pretty obvious in the first place. Gender identity has and continues to flourish in an environment which has completely chilled speech, women's speech to be exact. The silence of women is essential to the furthering of the trans agenda, so that men can continue to fetishize us and enter our spaces. It works on the logic of no body, no crime. But there are two other factors that have shaped this environment, in my opinion. One, the fact that women are not considered credible in institutions and otherwise across cultures that we're talking about, be it a country of the global south like India, be it the UK, be it America, be it Canada, be it Australia, women generally are not considered credible. What we say has to be corroborated, has to be substantiated, and it has to be specially corroborated by a man. The misogyny that is embedded in our societies and the complete disappearance of any critical inquiry on concepts like gender, sex, and male supremacy in academia. Had academia not lost its ground on these issues, and had it stuck to serious and sincere investment in inquiring into the condition of women, we would have been able to see the fetishization in the behavior of men who claim to be women. I also want to emphasize that there is no end to which women's freedom to think and to express and to articulate can be curtailed in this current regime of gender identity, because it demands a total surrender from women of any freedom to say anything. So it is naive to think that by imitating the positive messages like trans women are women, can be lesbians, women would be protected from harm. Well, the only way forward that I can imagine for women like me who belong to developing countries like India, and for women who belong to more developed countries like the UK is to just go on speaking and defending our right to disagree and our right to oppose the fetishization and the dehumanization that is inherent with gender identity. Thank you.